Before we dive into a case study, it's important to understand what to look for in a social anxiety disorder diagnosis. Social anxiety disorder is marked fear or anxiety about one or multiple social situations in which the individual is exposed to possible scrutiny by others, such as meeting unfamiliar people or being observed eating and drinking. The United States has a very high prevalence of this disorder. About 7% of the population experience a 12-month occurrence of social anxiety disorder. Typically, people with this disorder experience the persistence of fear, anxiety, or avoidance for at least 6 months. Let's begin by taking a closer look.
Welcome to the offices of Sarah Joyce Psychology.
Hello, I'm looking for a beginning diagnosis or maybe just someone to talk to about the feelings I'm having and increased stress that I find difficult to deal with.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Will.
You've come to the right place. If you could follow me into the room, that would be great.
About 1/2 of the individuals with social anxiety disorder in Western societies ever seek treatment. It is an extremely common disorder with over 200,000 cases per year.
Do you want to start by telling me how you've been feeling for the past couple weeks? What brought you in today? Tell me about your childhood. Was it pleasant?
Well, over the past couple weeks, they've been kind of rough, as I used to be such a huge people person, but recently I've been feeling scared to go in these social situations. Whenever I find myself in unfamiliar situations, my heart starts to race pounding out of my chest, and I feel very unsettled. I had a fine childhood with a few bumps here and there, but nothing that comes to mind for now. What is wrong with me?
First of all, there's nothing wrong with you. If I do end up diagnosing you with a mental disorder, that does not mean you cannot live a fully functional life. In fact, a diagnosis will help you get back on the right track to leading a productive and successful life. In the meantime, I think you may hear more about I need to hear more about situations that provoke this nervousness and other symptoms you may feel.
Here's an example. For as long as I can remember, I've been involved in everything. This year I participated in Model UN with multiple competitions per month. Played on the varsity soccer team where we practice every day, and I'm taking 3 AP classes. Usually, a busy schedule keeps me motivated, but in the past couple months, I just felt like there was so much going on that I was going to explode.
Oh, understandable.
It seems like the whole world has come crashing down. I can't motivate myself to do any schoolwork, and avoiding school and my homework has just added to the stress I am feeling about college applications. I hate going to soccer, but I feel like if I miss my games, I'll let my team down. I even had to quit Model UN, which used to be the best part of my day.
The median age at onset of social anxiety disorder in the United States is 13, and about 75% of individuals have an age at onset between 8 and 15. Younger adults express higher levels of social anxiety for specific situations.
So it sounds like you definitely have this type of anxiety disorder. These disorders cause excessive anxiety and lead to dangerous and unhelpful behaviors to alleviate this anxiety. Do you understand what that means?
I think so. For example, this destructive behavior would be not going to school to relieve my anxiety, but by doing this, it makes my anxiety worse when I think about everything I have to catch up on.
That is exactly right. There are a couple options for how anxiety disorders present themselves. There's generalized anxiety, panic disorder, and various phobias, and social anxiety disorder. In order to classify you more deeply, can you tell me about a situation other than school that causes these issues?
Onset may be insidious and develop slowly, but it can also follow a stressful, humiliating experience.
During Model UN, I had one really bad experience. Model UN is all about networking and delegating, and when delegates aren't in meetings, they're meeting people from all around the world, talking about their countries. This used to be really fun for me. The last competition before I quit, I was getting prepared to speak about my country. As I went to speak, my mouth and throat suddenly felt dry, and I felt my heart start to race, and nothing would come out of my mouth. I felt like I was panicking. I went to the bathroom to calm myself down, while my teammates took over my role. After the meeting was over, we were all sitting together for lunch. Since I'm usually so outgoing, I was shocked to discover that I felt completely out of place in this setting. I didn't know what to say to anyone, and I felt the same panic building up in my throat. I couldn't make eye contact with anyone. My face turned bright red, and eventually I had asked my mom to pick me up.
Now, why do you think you started to feel your heart racing and change in your face color? Is it because you were worried something was going to happen?
Well, everyone was looking at me, and I couldn't tell if they were looking how bad my hair was that day. I even saw one of the other delegates looking at me and laugh. Also, everyone was whispering and talking about something, probably me. I didn't even know what I was going to say. All the other competitors seemed so calm and collected when they spoke. They used these amazing facts, and they were so well organized in their thoughts.
The fear and anxiety of social anxiety disorder is out of proportion to the actual threat posed by the social situation.
Now, I can almost completely guarantee you that the person who was laughing was not laughing at your hair. Probably someone said a joke completely unrelated to you. That's why they laughed. Also, I do not think your hair could have looked bad. You're simply overthinking everything. Next time you feel that, just take in some deep breaths, collect yourself, and remember that everyone is more likely concerned with themselves than what your hair looks like. This is known as the spotlight effect. When you were young, did you have any traumatic social situations?
I would not say there were many of them, but there was this one time in the summer before 4th grade that was rather embarrassing.
Do you feel comfortable enough to tell me this story? It's fine if you don't.
Yeah, I guess I could tell you if you think it would help. It happened at the Dutch soccer camp I was at. During lunch, me and all my friends would sit together with the older boys at camp because they would always tell funny stories. So the second day of camp during lunch, we had a food fight with the older boys in the beginning of lunch, and somehow I ended up on the older boys' team. I had thought I had been barely hit, but little did I know I had been hit with a chocolate cupcake right on my white shorts, and I hadn't noticed. But once the afternoon scrimmages started again, I noticed everyone whispering and laughing at me, and did not know why, until the coach came up to me and told me about the unfortunate brown spot I had on the back of my shorts. The rest of the week, the other boys made fun of me for it, no matter how well I played.
Do you think that instance could be a reason today that you get worried when other people begin to whisper near you?
I mean, it makes sense to me. I had never really thought about it in that way.
Follow-up question. Do you feel the need to be everyone's friend in your classes at school?
Well, I would have to say that I don't feel fully comfortable being in class until I know everyone.
So you would say you need the whole class's approval before acting how you would normally act with your friends?
Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Well, don't you think it's a little unrealistic to gain everyone's approval before acting like yourself?
Well, if I act like myself before everyone is my friend, they could judge me and think I am weird, and they would laugh at me and make fun of me. I do not like it when I have to meet new people.
Now, do you think you need everyone's approval for a certain reason? Is there another instance you could have possibly hindered your ability to act how you want to in front of others?
I can't pinpoint an exact time when I would say I was made fun of in the past, but I do remember when I was younger, I used to go to the beach in New Jersey. We would spend the weekends there, and I started to make a new group of friends. There were about 8 of us, but I only knew 4 of them. The other 3 were more distant, and I could always tell that they were talking about me. They say my jokes were strange, and the things I liked were weird. The other 3 always made fun of me when I tried to talk to girls at the beach, saying how I was doing it wrong and would scare the girls away. After a while, I kind of turned myself down after my friends said that others would stop making fun of me if I just talked less.
I think you can clearly make a connection between that constant bullying and your now fear of acting natural in front of others before having their approval, and much of this stems from your childhood experiences. But look at it this way. In public, there is no need to shelter your true personality, as once you show who you really are, you are likely to make new and better friends.
I guess you're right about that.
We should continue these meetings to help you work past your fear of speaking in front of others and acting normally. But to help with how you describe the panic that ensues when you try to speak publicly, I'm prescribing you Zoloft, but I want you to start a journal entry and put any time you feel panic or scared from being in public. Also, keep a log from week to week on how the Zoloft is impacting you, as I'm going to prescribe it to you for 6 months and then reevaluate whether you still need it or not.
Thank you, Sarah, for all your help.
No problem, Will.
Males are more likely to use alcohol and illicit drugs to relieve symptoms of social anxiety disorder. Because Will did not show any signs of the substance abuse, this prescribed medication will aid in his frequent panic attacks and make him better equipped to handle his emotions.